Okay, and welcome to Shape and Measure, right? So I've gone ahead and started to create this floor plan. So floorplan.com, in this section, we're going to be starting by making our first real house. It's going to be pretty cool, right? So we're going to do a little bit of floor plan analysis, and then we're going to jump into really making this floor plan in Sketchup, right? So floorplan.com is a great place to do that. Recommendation for you is to start out with the tiny house floor plans, right? So at under 1,000 square foot floor plan, generally one floor. And so I chose this first one on here, right? And so they do a great job. They provide a full plan set, right, for $700, as opposed to paying an architect $1,500 or more to do a full plan set, something like that. So that's the value that they provide, right? So for us, for practice for SketchUp, we're just going to look at the floor plan that they provide and kind of break it down, use some of our knowledge, and just kind of cut out the creativity part and just copy and build it. Right. So I started, right. And so when it comes to dimensions, there are two types of dimensions, right? There are exterior dimensions and then there are interior dimensions. So what they have here on this floor plan are interior dimensions, right? So if we kind of look and compare, right, we can kind of say, all right, we have a 9 foot by 10 foot, 9'6" by 10 foot, and a 9 foot by 9 foot, right? And down here it says we're 19 by 12'4", right? So I'm thinking if we have a 10 and we have a 9, that's going to be our 19, right? So that's going to be our width, right? That's going to be our interior width, right? So inside corner to inside corner, right? So we're going to go with that. It doesn't have to be accurate. It's going to be our own model. We're going to make it work if it's not true. But in this case, we're going to say the interior dimensions are 19, right? The interior here is 10. The interior here is 9 feet. And then the rest of this, we can kind of infer the rest, right? And so that's what I started over here. So they give us this living room space, right? 19 by 12'4". So that's what I started here. And so the way that I did that, I'll get that started next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click my mouse. So now I'm going to move my guy. I'm going to move myself up to, maybe, yeah, that's short. So what we're going to do, we're going to click and drag, right? See that red line there? That's going to help you, right? So both hands are off the mouse. You can see on the bottom right here where it says length, right? That's going to be a constantly changing number as we move the mouse, because that's going to be, you can kind of drag it out. But again, we want to be precise, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to drag it out to 19 feet, and we're actually going to type that in, right? So they don't tell you can type it in, but I'm going to tell you, you can type it in. So we're just going to keep it loose, 2 hands off, line's still red, 19 feet, enter. So it jumps to the 19, so that's very cool. So now the height of this living room is 12'4". So we're going to do, up on the green axis, very important, 12'4" shift inches, right? Push enter. And see, I moved a little bit, so I got that in again. 12'4", enter. Right back to 19 feet, enter, and just complete the shape. In Sketchup, whenever you complete a shape, whether it's a rectangle or a triangle, right? As long as it's a closed shape, it's going to create a surface, right? Always remember that, right? So that's our living room. 19 by 12'4" is our interior, right? And then up here, right? So we can kind of assume some height. It's never good to assume, they say. And actually, that's not true. We're not going to assume anything. We're going to use my knowledge, right? So one of the things that I know from being in architecture and just designing and building things is that a bathroom, in order for it to be approved in the building code, has to be a minimum of 5'8". Now, I think that this bathroom right here looks like a 5'8" bathroom. So that's what I'm gonna assume, right? If this tub fits a human, it's no less than 5'6" feet. So we're going to say it's a 5-foot bathroom, right? 5 feet on the height, 8 feet on the length. So we're going to go vertical 5 feet on the green. We're going to go 8 feet. We're going to close that shape. All right, so now you have a bathroom. All right, that's what I did over here. I also know that this is a closet, right? And generally closets are about 2 feet on the depth and 3 feet on the width. I also know that a space for a toilet might be about 3 feet, right? Generally a human width is about 3 feet, right? So we're going to make that 3 feet as well. All right, so that's 3 feet. Okay, on the red. 3 feet. That was our 8 feet there. We're going to add 2 feet more on the height and 3 feet on the width. There we go. I'm going to zoom in on our bathroom so we focus there. I'm going to add another 3 feet for the toilet. Close that in there. So now this part is for the toilet, so I'm going to open that up so I can kind of start to see the shape. And this is for that closet. All right, so 3 feet, 3 feet is 6 feet. This is an 8-foot long bathroom, which means we have about 2 feet from this. This is an angle right here. So there's about 2 feet that you're not seeing, right, that they cut out so you can get a little walking space. So I'm gonna leave this like this, but it seems like it's working out to me. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at my bedroom dimensions, which they give me. Right, so now this bedroom is 10 feet wide, and this bedroom is 1 foot smaller, and it's 9 feet wide, right? So 9'6", right? So 9'6" is the height. So we're gonna go 9'6". Let me just confirm that again. On the green, 9'6" enter. 10 feet on the width. And see how intuitive this is, right? If I drag down to about that first corner that we drew over there, and I lock it down the green, I can get that, and I can just click it in. The next part is I know I need a 9x9 square next to it. Hands off, right? And I'm going to lock it in on the red. Right? It's a little off here, but that's okay. All right, so that's that shape. So now one thing I can do is look how nice it is lines up. Right, so now it's locked in. Right, so just to confirm with you, right, it's 19 on the width on the interior, and it's 28'10" on the length. Okay, there we go. So those are your inside dimensions. Now, before we dig into this, hot mess on the inside, it gets a little tricky. So hang with me here. We need to add these outside walls, right? And so now another thing that I know that you might not know is that exterior walls are 6 inches, right? They're 6 inches for structural strength. Interior walls are more or less a little less structural, right? They can still have bearing walls, right? But a little less structural. So that's why this line's thinner. Now it's going to be a 2x4 wall, right? That middle wall is going to be a 2x4 wall right there. So I'm going to go back to my SketchUp, right? Go back to my SketchUp, and I'm going to click this exterior line, right? So that line's blue. So if I go to, I'd like to find the continuous line, which I don't think it's going to be because these lines break it up, right? So that's another thing to learn, right? So if I click this line, right? See how that, now if I put a midpoint, see how it breaks it up? Now it's 2 lines, right? So you always want as many continuous lines as possible. Next, right? Next is I want you to duplicate this line, right? I'm going to offset it to 6 inches, right? To match the 6 inches, right, over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the move tool. I'm going to push control, okay? And you see, I don't know if you can see, but there's a very small plus sign next to that move. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it to the left on the red, 6 inches. And I'm going to move the top one Control. See how it snaps to the red, right? It's just going to assume that you want to repeat those commands because that's just like the nature of the content that it's designing for. Now I'm going to do that all the way around. So move tool, pushing M, 6 inches. Push M, push Control, 6 inches. Push M, push Control, 6 inches. There we go, right? So let's do it on the top. There we go. All right, so there we go. So now you might be thinking, we need to close up these corners, and you know if you do the correct. So I'm going to zoom in on those corners. Push escape. Boom. Always push escape. So these lines are continuous lines, right? So I can keep going forever unless I push escape. All right, so now I'm going to click bottom right to top left, delete. Right, so there we go. So see how we kind of made a surface? That's because it's a closed shape. Okay. Delete those little edges you don't need. Cool. There we go. And I can just confirm that it's all one continuous, right? Just by clicking, right? That is very important. You want it to be continuous, like that. Okay. I didn't do that offset out here yet. Okay, next, we need to, kind of define some more details here. So this living room is good. This is our 5x8 bathroom. If I look here, I feel like I'm looking at two appliances right next to each other. So those are about 30 inches wide. So I'm going to take, and then this is like a water heater in another space. So this is all one shape. So this is 30 inches wide. It's about 5 feet. So I'm going to take this line right here, duplicate that out, and I'm going to go 5 feet. And then I'm not going to forget about the wall thickness, and I'm going to go another 4 inches. Right. Again, I think this is a 24-inch water heater. It could be bigger, it could be smaller, but we can kind of go from there. So 22 feet, yeah. And then 4 inches for the wall thickness. If you delete this line that's separating, it's going to connect those all into one. And then, even though this is an open shape, there's a wall thickness piece there for the door. So we're going to go up 4 inches. Okay. There we go. We're going to delete this middle part because that's open. It's starting to look like what we have. We're going to go down. Hold on. So if we go down, we cut into that 2 feet. I would say we actually want to go up 4 inches. That cuts into our 9 feet, so it's a little give and take. Being that the bedroom's a little bit of a bigger space, I'm going to sacrifice that space. All right, so there we go. So there's our hot water heater closet. Here's our laundry rooms type space. Here's our hallway, right? It's starting to look a little bit more accurate. This is our bedroom. So I'm going to do, the room on the left is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to cut out 4 inches that way. Now, if you notice, these doors are all lined up, so that means this line right here needs to be all doors. Which also tells me, right? So a lot of like problem solving goes on here. Right, so that's the kind of the fun part. So I'm just going to extend this line over. I think it's safe to delete this line, right? We're going to extend this line. I'm going to delete, because you always want a continuous line when you can, right? You go over 4 inches. Then I'm going to go up 4 inches. Right, up 4. And see how it's broken up? That's okay. There we go. And then, what else? We want to get, we're just going to bump all this up 4 inches. Is that accurate? I think that averages fine. There we go. So now we can kind of cut this open and make it work, right? So I have a 4-inch wall. Now we have to make door openings. So I want to find, these doors are centered on their space. So now I can use either one of these as a center. So I'm actually going to connect it top and bottom. And then I'm going to go move tool. I'm going to go M, control. And so the smallest door this is a tiny house. So I'm going to assume we're at the smallest door. All right, the smallest, standard door is about 28 inches. And so we'll divide that in half since we're at the midpoint. We'll go 14 inches this way. And 14 inches this way. Okay. Now, I'm going to delete these center lines. There we go. We have a door opening. Let me clean this up. I think it's all one continuous piece right here. Look at that. That's a nice doorway. All right, we can even measure, what is this space right here? So that's 8 inches. That's pretty big, actually. That's 8 inches. So typically these little offsets are about 4 inches. So if I took off 2 inches on both sides and put a 30-inch door, that could actually work for us. So I'm going to do that. So I always want a nice doorway. And actually, if I go another 2 inches on both sides, that would be maybe have to do 1 inch. If we can get to a 32-inch door, that's a pretty good sized door. So we're at 28. So do 4 inches will bring us to 32. So we'll do 2 inches this way. And 2 inches this way. You can actually just... So if you click and drag this way, it's only going to select the complete shapes. See how it's a solid line? Whereas if I click and drag this way, it's a dotted line. It's going to select everything that's in that area. All right, so we're just going to manually go in and delete out. Click, delete, click, delete, click, delete, click, delete. Pushing the delete key on your keyboard. So now if we measure, how wide is our door? It is 24 inches plus 8. All right, what is that? 32. Heck. All right. Right, 32-inch door there. So then we want to keep it even since it looks like it's an even space on both sides. So this is 6 inches here. We're going to take this, we're going to bump it over. Actually, that's a little too much, right? We're going to go down. We're going to do 6 inches this way. There we go. That's even on both sides. And then we'll just do a 32-inch door from that 6 inches. Can we make that work? Let's see. I think we can. And then we take, from this corner, we do an angle. We don't really know what that angle is, but we're going to take it like that. Now, you might be noticing that I'm not using the eraser tool. I don't think it's precise enough, so I just click delete. All right, so now you have a good space there. Well, that's pretty good. All right, so next we need to get our wall thickness in this bathroom. All right, so shaping up pretty nicely. Right, so shape and measure is our focus. We'll finish this up and then we'll get to raising those walls. So let's add some wall thickness here. So again, 4 inches. Make sure it's on the red. And I can see I can go beyond 4 inches, right? And it snaps back. Let's see. So again, wherever side we go on, it takes away that space. So let's see what is this 5 feet? It is. We can't go smaller than 5 feet on that way. What is our height here? 9'2". So already 4 inches below what they have on the drawing. We can't go below. I mean, I can push into. Well, I need to put a wall here. All right, so we're just using that move technique. Duplicate. M, control, drag to the right 4 inches. Right, drag. So this angle is a little tricky. Are we going to get? Right, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to connect 2 points. So I'm going to put this out 4 inches and then, right, see how that's different. That works. Right, so it's it's open, so when I click on it, it's going to click that. So if I just extend this out and this out, there we go. So now that's one solid. So let's get bam, bam, bam. That looks good. You want one continuous wall. It's very important when we raise. So I guess we're just gonna have to cut in the closet depth. 2 foot on the depth. Maybe we just extend into this room a little bit by 4 inches. So to make the depth there 9'2". Wow, so it'd be like 8'10". Wow. I guess we can push it out this way. So you can take holding mount selection tool, holding control, we can multiple select. And if we bump that down on the green 4 inches, let's try that again. So it continued that down, so that's great. So now if we measure from here to here, 5 foot 4 inches, there you go. That's nice. So now we duplicate this out 4 inches. Oh, it looks like we have everything we need. Is that true? I believe it is. All right. So you always want to keep it one continuous piece, right? Whenever you click the walls, all the walls should light up. If they don't, right, you just want to open up those connections. This is going to be important for the next step. All right, so once all the walls turn blue, like they are here, you know you're ready to move on to the next step. I need to open up this door, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll catch you guys in the raising walls section. I will see you there, and we will talk soon.